Good afternoon, everyone. This is Nadia Sabrati coming to you live from Queens, New York at nadiasabrati.com. How's everyone doing tonight? I hope you all are doing well. Facebook is building my audience, so I'm going to wait for you guys to jump in. So when you jump in, please let me know where you're coming from so I can give you a shout out, okay? Oh my gosh, it's so cold in New York. It's freezing right now. Hey, how are you, my friend? Finally, I'm actually going live now. I did a video before, but you know what? It was for something else. So I want to wait for Facebook to actually build my audience because I'm going to have a lot more people jumping in pretty soon. So let me know, comment on the comment section. Let me know where you're coming from. All right? So I can give you a shout out. So Facebook is still building my audience. I'm going to wait for some more people to jump in. Okay? Hey Jim, how are you, my friend? Hey Ilya, thank you for joining me. Well, thank you for joining me. I'm fine. I'm gonna actually have a lot. Oh my gosh, guys, it's been a busy day. I had to do a video, right, for one of my other businesses, and I didn't want an audience, so it took me like 1 hour to actually get it right. It was a 5-minute video. For some reason, for me, it's so much easier to go live and do a video when I have people in my audience because I have people to actually talk to, and so it kind of like, not the fear, because I'm not nervous going live, but when you're actually doing a video, right? When you're doing a video and you put it on private for only you to see because you're using it for something else, it takes a long time. It really does. Hey Francis, how are you doing? Hey Peter, what's up, my friend? How have you been? So what's going on, guys? So I have a great topic I want to cover with all of you today. So I want to wait for Facebook to actually build my audience a little more because I want some more people on here. All right. So I'm actually going to get started soon. I just want to share this in a few of my groups, guys. So everyone there can actually benefit from this and they can catch this live. Well, I'm happy you're doing well. I'm happy you're doing well. Okay, so I'm going to get started now. Hey Dinky, what's up, beautiful? Oh my gosh, Dinky, where have you been? I've been like, I've been meaning to like message you, but I figure you're busy doing your thing. Okay, guys, I'm gonna get started right now. Okay. So good night, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining me. Oh my gosh, really? I'm so sorry to hear that. Dinky, I'll message you after. I'll message you after I'm done with this live and we'll talk. Okay, guys. Good afternoon. Good night, everyone. Well, it's nighttime here in New York and it's freezing cold. It's so cold. But I have to go, I needed to go live and connect with you all. And today I want to talk about, how to tell your story, right? How to tell your story. Because so many of us, right, guys, including you guys and myself, we don't want the world to know who we are, right? We don't want the world to know who we are because we feel, hey, Sean, how are you? Because guys, in order for you to tell your story to inspire others, right, you want to become vulnerable. You have to. And so many of us, we're terrified. We don't want the world to know who we are. We're scared to tell our story because we're more scared of that other people are going to judge us, right, guys? Listen to me. Nobody's going to judge you guys. We all have a story to tell. Whether it's a good story, whether it's a bad story, whatever the story is, guys, this is who you are. And by you telling your story, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be inspiring so many people, right? Because we all have a story to tell. Whether it's a good story or a bad story, we all have a story to tell, right? And, there are many ways to tell your story. Okay, you could do a summary of your story, make it short if you're going to do a story ad or something like that, or you can but if you're going to go live, you want to tell your whole story. You want to tell your whole story. I'm getting so many messages right now. I'm sorry, guys. It's kind of distracting. But you want to tell your whole story. You want people to know who you are. Because you know what? By you telling your story, you're going to build trust with your audience. You're going to have that connection with them. They're going to feel like, you know what? I know this person. Right, guys? And in this business, it's about building trust. It's about building trust with your audience. All right? Okay, guys? I don't understand that word, Dinky. Oh, vulnerable. Yes. You have to become vulnerable, guys. Well, you know, I'm cold. I'm cold. Anyway, all right. So let me get started. So today I'm going to tell you guys my story, right? My story is not a bad story, but my story has to do with our economic system, right? It has to do with our economic system that, you know, that has gotten me here, right, guys? And we're going to go back to, well, I was born and raised in Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean. And when I was 13 years old, my parents got divorced. So my mother actually moved to New York when I was 13. And when I was 16 years old, she so many messages, I'm sorry, I should turn this off. When I was 16 years old, right, guys, I moved to New York with my three siblings. I have three younger siblings, so we all moved here. So my mother, you know, was a single mother, you know, raising 4 children. We were 4 teenagers. We were really young. So she taught us the value of money, right? I mean, it was difficult. It was so difficult at that time, you know. Oh my God, Dinky, yes, I know. Vulnerable. Am I saying it correctly? Listen, you have to become vulnerable. Vulnerable. You know, this is a word like so many people mess up sometimes, right, guys? So let's get back to my story. So, you know, we actually moved to New York, right? And my mother had, you know, guys, my mother struggled to raise 4 of us. You know, she had a bunch of jobs, bunch of part-time jobs. Plus she was working in the college. You know, she was working in the college, and she was, it was difficult for her raising 4 of us. So at a very young age, she taught us the value of money. All right. At the very young age, she taught us the value of money. And, you know, when I turned 19, I decided to go to college and, you know, study accounting. After that, I bartended here and there, and then I got into the mortgage business. So I did that for a while, right? And in 2006, guys, the mortgage business, all the mortgage companies were in crisis. They were having a lot of issues. A lot of foreclosures were going on. A lot of people were losing their homes because of a lot of, there was a lot of issues going on, right? So I wasn't making money. I couldn't get any sales, and it was strictly commissions. So I quit. I quit, and I really wasn't looking for a job, right? Because it was, you know, I really wasn't looking for a job at that time. I had quit, and I bartended in between. And then I met my ex-fiance like probably 2 months after I quit doing mortgages as a loan officer. And guys, we were together for 9 years. We were together for 9 years, and for that whole 9 years, I didn't work. You know. But when I found out that I had to tell my story, I was like, oh my God, I don't want the world to know who I am. You know, I don't want to tell the world that I didn't work for 9 years, because I felt like, oh my gosh, you know, like so many people have a job and all of this stuff, but I didn't have to work, and I didn't work. So for the first 2 years, all we did was travel, right? We traveled everywhere for the first 2 years. And then I got tired of traveling. I started looking back at my life, and I'm like, what am I going to do? Stay at home? Have someone support me? I didn't want that, you know? So I decided to go back to school, right, guys? I went back to school at the age of 35 years old. And, you know, I got a degree in health information technology. And I was also a certified billing and coding specialist. Then I went to another school. I studied public health. So those 2 degrees, guys, I graduated top of my class, the top 1% of my class, summa cum laude, right? And then, you know, I got my internship as a medical case manager, and then I worked as a medical case manager. But guess what happened, guys? They cut fundings for public health. So I'm like, what am I going to do? And at that time, a lot of hospitals started closing down in New York. So many people were like out of jobs. People with higher degrees than myself, right? There were nurses that were working in supermarkets. You know, I mean, this is how bad it got, right? So I'm like, what am I going to do? You know, what am I going to do? So I decided to go back to school. So I went back to school, and I started studying a double master's in acupuncture and oriental medicine. Guess what, guys? I couldn't find a job. I was applying to hundreds of jobs. hundreds of jobs. I must have went to all the staffing agencies in New York City. I was competing for one job with thousands of applications. This is how bad our economic system is, and still is. People just don't talk about it. People don't talk about it. There's so many people out there with degrees and higher degrees, they cannot find jobs. There are people out there with PhDs and they're making $12 an hour, and they're thousands of dollars in debt. I'm thousands of dollars in debt because of student loans. You know, I don't have any credit card loans or anything like that, but student loans, oh yeah, I'm thousands of dollars in debt. And we're not talking about $10, $20, $30,000. We're talking about a lot more money than that, okay? So I couldn't find a job. So I finally got an interview cross country for Cerner. So I flew out there because they wanted, you know, all the top people with high GPA, right guys? I graduated with a 4.0 GPA. So they flew me out there. I went out there and I thought it was only going to be an interview with like probably 3 or 4 people, right? For two positions they had available. It was 24 of us. And you know, like they said after the interview, you know, the interview was like all day, you know, 3 interviews and they showed you, you know, everything, right? If I did get the job, they would have flew me out there. But, you know, I went on the interview and they're like, well, if, you know, we're going to notify you in 2 weeks. But if they don't want you, they eliminate you right away. And within the first few couple of days, you know, they actually send you a message like, hey, you didn't get a job, right? It took them on the 13th day to message me. Hey, Nadia, you know, I'm so sorry you're not a fit for this position. Guys, if I did get the job, I would have been living out of my suitcase. What I would have been doing is implementing the electronic medical records for hospitals all over the United States and international. So I would have been traveling as a consultant, updating and implementing all the electronic medical system in the hospitals, doctors' offices, and all of this stuff, right? And so I didn't get the job. But if I did get the job, I would have been flying cross-country all over the world, international flights. And guys, they wasn't even paying a lot of money. The starting salary, I believe, was like $36,000, and I would have to relocate to Kansas. All right, and the thing is about this job, from Sunday to you're flying out to another state on the Sunday, and then you're flying back into Kansas on Friday. So I would really be in Kansas for like 2 nights, and then have to fly back again wherever they need you, right? So anyway, I didn't get the job. It was a blessing in disguise because I have no one in Kansas, but I was so desperate for a job, I would have taken it. I was so desperate for a job, I would have taken it, right? Anyway, I didn't get the job. And, you know, I applied for a bunch of other places, yes, and then I got another job at a department store selling DirecTV, guys. I took it because I was like, what am I going to do? My ex-fiance, at that time we had already broken up. He was supporting me financially. And, you know, I mean, he was great to me. Even though we wasn't together, he was supporting me, but I wanted to do this on my own, right? I wanted to do this on my own. And I was trying so hard to like find a job that I got so depressed. Because we already wasn't together for 2 years, right? But he was still supporting me financially, paying my car payments, my bills, spending money, whatever it was. And we wasn't together. And I was like, you know what? I need to do this on my own. And I couldn't find a job, guys. I tried so much, so hard. I couldn't find a job. So one day, you know, I was on Facebook, right? And I saw Chid. He's my sponsor. I saw Chid, and he was actually telling his story. And that's what caught my attention. He was telling his story. That's what caught my attention. That night, I messaged him, guys. That night, I messaged him, right? And now they are watching you telling, yes, Jim, exactly. So this was 1 year ago. I've only been in this business last month. Made it 1 year. The 24th of October made it 1 year, right? So I contacted him and we talked for 3 hours. He showed me MLSP. And guys, this was the very first thing I did. Before I got into any MLM, any opportunities or anything like that. Because I said to him, I was like, listen, I want to do what you're doing, but I need something, a platform where I can learn from the bottom up. Because guys, remember, I had no knowledge of marketing. I didn't even know what was attraction marketing. Hey, Rick. Hey, Steve. Guys, I had no idea what was attraction marketing. I never did a video in my life. I never even went live, you know? So he sent me a link to meet him on Zoom. He showed me MLSP back office. He showed me all the stuff. And, you know, he didn't even ask me. He was like, you want to try it out? I said, I don't want to try it out. I said, just send me the mastery link. So I went in with $150 because I knew this is what I wanted. I didn't want to test it out because I'm the type of person, guys, if I'm in, I'm all in 100% because I'm very, very, very determined to succeed in whatever whatever I do. Academically, guys, I succeeded with a 4.0 GPA. It left me nowhere. Yes, my degrees looked great on the wall, but I still couldn't find a job, right? So whatever I put my mind to, I accomplish, So I said to myself, I was like, no, I don't want the $10 trial. Just send me the $150 and let's move forward. So he sent me the link. I signed up right away. And, it took me a week for me to actually go into the back office, right? So then he messaged me, goes, Nadia, you haven't done anything. I was like, well, I'm still trying to figure this out. I said, I've never done any of this. I have no idea what I'm doing. Guys, I swear, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea. So I finally, he was like, well, after the first week, he's like, well, you need to go live and do a video. I was like, what do I talk about? He's like, introduce yourself. But before we get to that point, the second week I went into the back office. Guys, I had no one to help me. No one was doing these challenges. No one was doing these challenges when I joined a year ago. No one. So for the first 3 months, I went into learning mode. Every day what I would do is take a training, and I was all over the place because in MLSP back office, they have trainings for all the platforms. So my sponsor was like, okay, Nadia, choose one platform and work with that, right? And become and make it perfect and become really good at it. I didn't know what he meant, guys. I didn't even know it was Instagram, Twitter, Periscope. I had no idea what was all of these things. So here I am in the back office and I'm like, okay, well, let me try Twitter. Let me try Instagram. Guys, I had no idea what I was doing. So for the first 3 months, I went into learning mode. I was Monday through Friday, I would listen to the wake-up calls they have. I was sitting on every webinar, every Wednesday webinar, the hangout, all of this stuff. I was like so in tune. And then I started meeting a lot of these trainers, like a lot of these people in this industry that are making 6 and 7 figures, right? I started getting to know who they are, and then I started messaging them and started talking to them. And but yeah, I went into learning mode. And then I saw Leah and Todd Ray. Leah and Todd Getz, they were doing a webinar, and that caught my attention. And we started talking, right? And then Leah and Todd started coaching me, right? And I started getting results. And then this was like probably 4 months into this business, right? I started getting results. And then right after that, I met Mark Lalone. And when I met Mark Lalone was when my business started taking off. And I built a Twitter lead machine, started generating leads on Twitter. But guys, I took massive action. I knew what I wanted, and I was going to succeed no matter what, whatever it took. So I surrounded myself with a lot of the top leaders. I surrounded myself with all the top leaders that are getting results. And this is when I started getting results. But guys, the first 3 months, I went into learning mode. I was like, oh my God, but I never felt like giving up because I already knew the first year was going to be a learning curve. So I had no desire to quit. Even though I wasn't getting results in the beginning, I had no desire to quit. I was like, you know what? It's a learning curve. I came from a healthcare background. No no marketing skills like this, what I'm doing now. Guys, now I'm building funnels. Now, I've had my ebook. I did an ebook. I've done so much in 1 year because I took massive action. Right, guys? When I started this business, I did not have a plan B. And I didn't complain about not having the money because you know what I did? I sacrificed. Instead of me going out and all of this stuff, I decided not to go out for a year and just focus on building this, right? And you want to hear something funny? When I told my ex-fiance, hey, I decided to become an entrepreneur, right? And I'm gonna build this business. He's like, well, you need to get a job. And I was like, get a job? I was like, where? I was like, nobody wants to hire me. I was like, why don't you let me work with you? You own your own company. But yeah, he didn't want me working with him. We had already broken up, so there was no point me working with him. But guys, this is what I'm saying. When you are consistent and you really want something, you're going to find a way to make it happen. And I have so many people that are finding excuses, guys. I've had so many people that join me on the challenge, and we're doing this for free. And when it gets, and this is the 5-day free challenge. And when we introduce them to the 10-day challenge, the paid 10-day challenge, which is $10, guys. This is $10. This is nothing to talk about. These people start to complain. These people start to complain. Oh, well, things are really tight. You don't have $10? And this is for your future. This is for your future. So, it's been 1 year and I've ranked 5 times. So if I could do it, all of you can do it if you really want this. If you really want this and you buckle down and you put everything you have in you, guys, you will start getting results. But the first year, it's a learning curve. For me, it happened fast. I was like, wow, the reason why I started getting the results is because I surrounded myself with leaders. I became friends with them. And whenever I needed their help, I would message them. Like whenever I need Mark's help, like I would message him, hey, what should I do? I need help, and he would help me. If I need help from Leah, they're all there for me, guys. So this is why you need to surround yourself with people that are on the same mission as you, and this is my story. But yeah, my story had to do with our really, really bad economic system where I couldn't find a job. And something, in my wildest dreams, I never thought I would be here doing this. And now I have total freedom. I could travel whenever I want and work anywhere in the world. And this is something so many people want, but they don't want to do the work. This is what so many people want, but they don't want to do the work. Guys, you can do this. You have to believe in yourself. Hey, Will, how are you, my friend? Incredible testimonials, seeing where you are today. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. But guys, I started off with a training platform. If I did not start off with a training platform, I would not be here. I would not have been connected with all the top leaders that are getting results. Okay? So I am grateful. I'm grateful for meeting Chid, who sponsored me to MLSP. And I'm grateful for all the leaders, that I'm surrounded with, that has helped me on this journey and who is still helping me on this journey. And I'm also one of the founding partners in the Branding U University. And I'm also one of the professors. So pretty soon I'm going to be teaching a lot of people. So I just wanted to share that with you all. So this has been my journey, So do you guys have any questions for me? Do you have any questions for me? Hey, Rick, how are you? Hey, Steve. Relate to audience. Phase 1. Exactly. You have to relate to your audience, guys. Because listen, you have to become vulnerable. You have to let your audience know who you are. All right? So this was my story. This was my story. And I'm sure so many of you can relate to my story, right? But each and every one of us, we all have a different story to tell. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to share that with all of you. So do you guys have any questions for me? Well, thank you all so much for joining me. And you know something, guys? I'm going to give you all a free training today. A free training on how to tell your story. All right? If you want this free training, just comment yes on the comment section and I'm going to send you this training. And guys, it's step by step how to tell your story. Hey, Jazz, how are you, beautiful? Oh my gosh, Jazz, I was just getting ready to get off. But Jazz, I was telling my audience my story and how they can tell their story. So I'm offering everyone today a free training on storytelling and how to tell your story to capture your audience. Okay, guys? And by you telling your story, you're going to be inspiring so many people. They're going to have that connection with you because guess what? They're going to know, like, and trust you. Okay? Because you become vulnerable and you're telling your story. Okay, guys? So I just wanted to share that with you all and thank you all so much for joining me. And again, if you want the free training on how to tell your story, just comment yes on the comment section and I'm going to send it all to you, okay? I love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your night and talk to you all soon. Bye, everyone.